Hey, what's up, gentlemen? Chris McCarthy here with Elite Level Leader, and welcome to the Battleground. In today's workout, I've got a back workout for you, and how this is going to work is we're going to end up doing 5 different back exercises, and we're going to be doing drop sets on these. So basically what that means is we're going to start off with a light weight. What we're going to do with that light weight is we're going to perform the movement for a total of 12 reps. Then you're going to go ahead and rest for 1 minute. After that 1 minute of rest is up, now you're going to go ahead and increase the weight, but we're going to go ahead and decrease the reps down to 9 reps. After that is over, you're going to go ahead and rest for another minute. Then what we're doing on the third set is we're going to increase the weight again to our heaviest weight, and we're decreasing the reps down to 6 for that. Then what happens is immediately after you have completed those 6 reps at that heaviest weight, you're going to grab that lightest weight that you started with on the first set, and you're going to do that same movement until failure. So you're basically going to keep doing that same movement until you burn out to failure on that. Once you've completed that, that completes that rep and set sequence for that specific movement, and we'll move on to the next movement. All right, guys, it starts off with dumbbell pullovers. So you're going to need a bench here in a flat position, and I'm going to go over here and you're going to need 1 dumbbell. Now keep in mind, we are starting off at our lightest weight. So make sure you're choosing a light weight that gives you enough time to be able to, or enough room to go ahead and move up that weight as you go and complete the 9 reps and the 6 reps at the heaviest weight. What we're going to end up doing here is with this 1 dumbbell, we're going to lay the top part of our back against this bench here, kick our legs out into a 90-degree angle here, and thrust our hips up, and we're basically going to have this dumbbell in our hands here, in our palms, and we're going to raise it back over our head and then fully back up in front of our chest, and that is the dumbbell pullover. So I'll get into position here. I'm going to grab this dumbbell here, set it on the side, rest the top of my back right against my shoulders against this bench, put my legs out in a nice 90-degree angle here, raise my hips off of the ground. You're actually going to get a nice little core exercise in here as well. Grab this dumbbell, press it straight up over the top of my chest. Everything is nice in a line here. My wrists, my shoulders, and my elbows are all stacked nicely. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start to bring this dumbbell down over the top of our head. Once we get down to kind of full extension here, you feel that in your lats, you're going to come all the way back up till that dumbbell is straight over the top of your chest. So all the way down, squeeze at the bottom, come all the way up, pause and squeeze at the top. You're going to end up doing 12 of these dumbbell pullovers here at this lightest weight. Once you've completed 12 of these, then you're going to go ahead and rest for 1 minute. After the 1 minute of rest is up, you're going to go ahead and grab that heavier weight, and you're going to do a set of 9 of those. Then you're going to rest for another minute, and then you're going to increase the weight to the heaviest weight, do a set of 6, and then immediately after that set of 6 is over at that heaviest weight, you're going to go back to this lightest weight, and you're going to do those dumbbell pullovers until you can no longer do any more. So basically the failure point on those. All right, guys, let's move into the second movement today, which is going to be single arm dumbbell bent over rows. So I'm going to start off here with the same weight that I was doing on the pullovers. So these are single arm dumbbell bent over rows. So we're going to start off here, just because I'm facing this way, we're going to start off with the left hand. So depending on the height of your bench here, you might have just a palm on here, or you might be down on your elbow to kind of get in a deeper position here. You're going to have 1 foot in front, 1 foot behind. Now from here, nice flat back, head and neck should be a neutral spine. I'm going to start with my hand on the top here, bend down, grab this dumbbell. Now you're going to want to go ahead and engage this shoulder. So as soon as you pull this dumbbell up, engage that shoulder, pull it up. I don't want to see a lot of movement here. The dumbbell pullover, once you engage that shoulder, or the dumbbell bent over row, is from here to the hip. Shouldn't be a whole lot of movement at all in that shoulder, so really engage that lat. Go ahead, grab this dumbbell from here, engage that shoulder, engage that lat, pull that dumbbell back towards your hip, squeeze, you're going to feel that in the lat, and then slow and controlled all the way down. Pull it back up and squeeze, slow and controlled all the way down. You're going to do a set of 12 here on this left arm at this lightest weight. Once you've completed 12 of those, you're immediately going to go over and do 12 on the right arm. Then what you're going to do is go ahead and rest for 1 minute. Then we're going to increase the weight. You're going to do 9 on the left arm, 9 on the right arm, rest for 1 minute, increase the weight again. Then you're going to do 6 on the left arm, 6 on the right arm. Well, actually, sorry. What you're going to do is you have that drop set in there. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off on that left arm with that heaviest weight. You're going to do 6 on that left arm, and immediately after that, before you go to the right arm, you're going to go ahead and grab that lightest weight there, and you're going to do 6 on that lightest weight. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna switch off to the right arm, and then you're gonna do the heaviest there at that 6 there, and then you're gonna go into that drop set where you drop down to the lightest weight and go to failure on both of those drop sets. All right, guys, once you've completed that, we're moving on to the next movement today, which is gonna be dumbbell seated flies. So once again, I'm gonna go ahead and put this dumbbell off to the side here. And we're gonna get down into a seated position on this bench, and we are doing a straight arm movement here, and they are dumbbell bent over flies, working the back here. So we wanna go super light on these from the beginning because we want room to kind of move up those weights. And since we're doing straight arm movements, really start pretty light on these because you wanna move up to that heaviest weight for those 6 reps. So I'm just gonna grab a couple of 15s right now. So we wanna get here into position on this bench. I'm gonna kind of pull it back a little bit so you can see a little bit better. What you want to do is sit down here on this bench, put your legs together here, and what we're going to do is we're going to slightly bend over, and the dumbbell should be down here behind your knees. Now, when you fly back, what I want you to do is make sure when you're flying back here, you're keeping those elbows down and low, and you're trying to bring those elbows towards the lower part of your back together. What I don't want you doing is flying up high, up like this. You want to keep those elbows down and low as you pull back. If you go high, it turns into a shoulder exercise, and we're working back today. So get here in this seated position, grab the 2 dumbbells, palms are facing each other here, bend over slightly, head and neck should be in neutral spine, and you're going to roll back, squeeze, and then all the way down. Roll back, squeeze, pause for a second, come all the way down. You're going to feel this in the lower part of your lats if you're bringing those elbows back and low. Really want to emphasize, guys, on these, make sure you're starting off super, super light. If you go up too heavy on that, you're not going to be able to pause for a second at the back. As soon as you're going to get up there, they're just going to fall back down. So make sure you are starting light on those for that first set of 12. Rest for the 1 minute, increase the weight for 9 reps, increase the weight again after your minute rest for the 6 reps, and then immediately go into that drop set to failure with that lightest weight that you just did. All right, guys, after you've completed the dumbbell seated flies, now we're gonna move into incline bench dumbbell rows. So we're gonna go ahead and put this bench up at an incline. And from here, what we're gonna do, it's actually this a little bit high there, bring it down just a little bit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna be face down with our chest against the top of this bench. And just like we were doing the single arm rows, but we're gonna do them at the same time. So chest up on this bench, dumbbells are gonna be hanging down here by our sides, and we're gonna row up. Once again, just like you were doing in those flies, when you row up here, make sure you're bringing those elbows back towards your hip and try to wrap your elbows around your back, really engaging those lats right there. So what I'll do is do a couple sets here, or a couple reps here with the bench that way, then I'll turn it around so you can see a little bit more here. But we are starting off here on the lightest weight for those 12 reps. So get into position here, chest goes against the top of this bench. Palms are facing each other. You're gonna roll back, keeping those elbows close to your sides, and all the way down. Row up, pause, all the way down. Slow and controlled on that negative. But I'm pulling back towards the hip. So if I was to go ahead and just turn this bench around just really quickly here for you so you can kind of see it from the side, you'll notice how I'm pulling those dumbbells there back towards my hip. We just don't really want this to turn into a shoulder exercise. So from here, get in this position here, you notice I'm pulling these dumbbells back to my hip. I'm not coming up like this. Back towards that hip is really going to work those lats and your back. So you're gonna go ahead and do 12 at that lightest weight, rest for 1 minute. Then you're gonna increase the weight for 9 reps, rest for 1 minute, increase the weight for 6 reps, and then immediately go right into that lightest weight again until failure. All right, after that, we are going to complete the final movement here on back day, which is gonna be dumbbell deadlifts. So deadlifts are kind of a combo movement here. They don't really end up being much of a back exercise until the final part, which is why we're doing those there. At the beginning, they turn into, or they start off as, a leg exercise, which is fine. What I see a lot of people doing on dumbbell deadlifts, or any type of deadlift, is they actually turn it too much into a back exercise at the beginning, and that can injure your back. Really what you want to start off doing here, so I'm going to set these off to the side here and grab a couple more pair of dumbbells, just a little bit heavier here, even though we are starting off at the lightest weight. I'm going to set these down on the ground. What you see a lot of people doing with deadlifts is they just have the dumbbells or the barbell, whatever they're using for weight in their hands, and they're just hinging at the waist. And basically, really all that's doing is overworking your lower back. So the deadlift starts off as a leg exercise, and it should start off as a leg exercise. So we're gonna get in a nice squat stance here. So your feet should be about hip width apart, a little bit wider maybe. You don't wanna go too wide because the dumbbells, you wanna keep them close to your legs the entire time. If you're too wide, those dumbbells are gonna come down. You're gonna have to kind of widen your hands out to clear your knees. So what you're gonna do is those dumbbells are gonna be on the ground. From here, you're gonna hinge at the hips. Knees are gonna start to bend, knees are gonna track out over those toes, and you're sitting back in this squat with a nice flat back, head and neck and neutral spine. You're gonna grab these dumbbells on the ground, and as you start to stand up now, you're pushing through the ground here. We're not hinging at the waist. We are pushing through the ground, knees are coming back, hips are opening up. Now, once you get to this point, as the knees come all the way back and the hips start to open up, now is when it really starts to turn into a back exercise because the legs have done their part at this point. As the legs come up, now you're kind of shrugging backwards here, bringing that chest up and rolling your shoulders back, engaging those lats. That's when it becomes your back exercise on there. So I really want you to focus on that. Once those hips open up, now really start to roll those shoulders back and engage that back. Then you just repeat in the reverse motion what you just did. You're gonna roll those shoulders back. As you start to bend down here, knees are gonna track out over those toes, you're gonna sit back in that squat and the dumbbells are gonna go down. What I don't want you doing is just bending over again. So you're just reversing what we did. So go ahead here, I've got these two dumbbells here on the ground. I'm going to bend my knees, hinge at the hips, start to sit back in that squat. Weight is in my heels, head and neck is in neutral spine. Go ahead, grab these dumbbells. I'm gonna press through the floor as I come up, knees are coming back, hips are opening up, rolling those shoulders back. There it goes. That's become a back exercise right there. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and reverse this. Shoulders are gonna start to come together, keeping those dumbbells close to my legs, all the way down, back to the ground, then press through and up. We do 12 of these at this lightest weight. Then you're gonna go ahead and rest for that 1 minute. Increase the weight for 9 reps, rest for 1 minute, increase the weight increase the weight again, drop the reps down to 6, and then immediately grab these lightest dumbbells again and do a set of those dumbbell deadlifts to failure. You could probably go pretty heavy on these guys. So I started off really light here on the 35s for 12. You could probably go even heavy depending on kind of where you are at in your fitness level, but you could probably go pretty heavy on those. All right, guys, that completes the back workout for today. And I will see you right back here for the next workout in the battleground. And as always, make sure you check out EliteLevelLeader.com for full training programs and to enlist today.